Today is June 7th, 2026, and welcome to the 491st episode of the So Video Games podcast. Here on the show, I talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. My name is Brad Galloway, and I am the one-man host of the show. I'm also the editor of GameCritics.com, a reviews website that offers full accessibility information on every review we publish. Hello! Thank you all for joining me today on this lovely Sunday, recording on the usual time and the usual day, and that feels good because I am a fuddy-duddy creature of habit. Yes, that's me. All right, folks, no special guest today. It's going to be me, myself, and I piloting the show solo through the dark, and that's what we're going to do. I say let's just get down to it and waste no time whatsoever. Usually starting out with housekeeping. Not a lot for me specifically. Full disclosure, I've had a pretty busy week with in real life non-game stuff, and so that means game stuff has to take a temporary backseat because I got to pay the bills because capitalism, fuck capitalism. But I do know that Summer Game Fest is going on. Carlos and I mentioned it on the last week's show, and so it's just in full steam right now. Everything just going on, popping off all over the place. As an example of how much is going on right now, when I started my Friday afternoon, I had spent some time in my inbox, my email inbox. I had gotten down to about maybe 25, 30 emails that I needed to respond to. And I haven't really done anything since then. Right now, I'm sitting at about 450 emails. So that's how many PR blasts we're getting, how many links to videos, how many requests for interviews and previews, how many announcements, all this stuff. So we talked briefly about there being too many games last week, and I'm very strongly feeling that there are too many games right now. I am drowning in info, and it's so much info that I end up not absorbing any of it. I've got a very long night of email ahead of me after I get done with this show, so we'll get to that when we get to that, but there is a lot going on right now. Speaking of the Summer Game Fest, I haven't had time to watch any of it. I haven't even watched a minute of it yet, but I've had people talking. I set up a separate channel in the So Video Games Discord. People are in there talking about it. Seen people talking all over the social medias, etc., etc. So it's on my radar. I think the wife and I are going to try to catch up with a little bit of it today, or as much as we can. Maybe, maybe just targeted demos, or maybe a couple trailers that are getting a lot of buzz or something. We're not going to be able to get through all of it. There's just no way. So we'll get to that ASAP. Yeah. Anyway, if you know of a trailer that you really want me to watch or to cover, or if there's a specific demo that you think is really worth my time, send me a message. Hit me up. I would love to get recommendations. I think recommendations are some of the best way to get turned on to new games. And if you listen to the show, you listen to me, you know who I am, and you think you got a bead on where I'm at, drop me a line if there's something out there you think I would like. I would love that. Getting those curated picks is always my favorite way to go. So message me if you've been one of those people keeping up on Summer Game Fest. I would appreciate that because I just do not have the bandwidth at the moment, but hopefully soon. But send me a line. Do it, please. All right, moving on quickly. I mentioned that I'm the editor of GameCritics.com. That is me, absolutely. And as such, I'd like to shine a little spotlight on things you may have missed if you haven't been over to the site lately. If you click on over, you can see last week's content. We published The Abbess Garden by Andre Pedro. This is a indie jam about a nun being hired to restore a garden while larger political events are happening. He wasn't too hot on it, but it's an interesting premise, I think. We have a piece on Bubsy 4D from Ben Schwartz, which seems pretty favorable. Looks like Bubsy's a little bit short on content, but the content that was there was good. We have a review of Mutant Football League 2 from Jeff Ortloff. Good old Jeff. This seems like a interesting premise that has a lot of flaws and actually some questionable content. Jeff was not too hot on this one. And he goes into detail about why that is. Final video of the week, I think, or actually not video, final review actually ended up being a video. Fortune Seller from Eugene Sachs video review turned in, which was pretty favorable. It's kind of like a combination of the Resident Evil inventory Tetris system combined with a roguelike, combined with inventory management, selling prices and earning a profit. It looked pretty wild. I would be very interested in this one if it came to console, and he's got a full video breakdown. You can see the whole thing there. And check that out. And as always, you can always catch up on old episodes of the So Video Games podcast. They're all archived at GameCritics.com and also on our YouTube channel. Speaking of which, youtube.com/@GameCritics.com videos. for the video archive versions of our podcast and all of the stuff we've been posting for previews and video reviews and trailers that we like and so forth and so on. So heads up that is there. All right, let's get to it, folks. Kicking off the main portion of the show here with Circlebacks, where I circle back to things I've covered in depth on previous episodes. Not going to get into all the details right now. This is just a quick update, let you know if my thoughts have changed on something for better or for worse after spending more time with it. Only one circle back this week, Warhammer 40k Mechanicus 2, strategy, RPG, isometric, tile-based, turn-based. Think of like Warhammer 40k plus XCOM sort of a thing. Brought it up on last week's show, and it's still good. It's still good. I'm enjoying it. It's not like lighting my world on fire, because I feel like when I played the original Mechanicus, it was fresh and new and super just like very cool to spend some time with the Adeptus Mechanicus, one of my favorite factions from 40k. This is, I hate to sound negative, not trying to sound negative, but this is like more of the same. And again, not trying to be down on it. I'm enjoying it. I think it's really good. But it's hitting some of the same beats, and that's fine. I enjoy 40k games, and they don't need to reinvent the wheel every single time. But I think it's all still good. If you like 40k, if you like the Adeptus Mechanicus, if you like, XCOM, definitely, absolutely worth your time. Absolutely worth your time. Definitely a thumbs up. My only continued bummer with this is that I think the graphics are just so fuzzy. It just seems like they tried to upscale from like PS2 or something, and the graphics, man, they just need a kick in the ass. It needs to be sharper. It needs to be a little bit better animation. It needs to be a little bit brighter. I'm not sure what's going on, but something about the graphics here are just, they feel very outdated and unimpressive, which sucks because I think the gameplay is super solid and fun. So just keep that in mind. And there you go. But this is a good experience. Still a thumbs up for sure. Okay. Moving on to the main portion of the show. This may be a shorter show than usual because I don't have anybody here to banter with except myself, and it's always weird when I do that, and so I try to do it at a minimum, but maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. Let's get to it. First up, first game of this week, Survivor Mercs. Oh, and I should say, looking at my list here, no, I don't know. No. Well, I'll just say this one I got a code from PR4. I know we have to do our FCC disclaimer, so I got most of the games on this show for free from PR, so just heads up. It's not going to affect my opinion one way or another. If you've read my reviews or listened to this show, you know that's for a fact. I do not let anybody win me over, and I have blasted some games that I have gotten a free code for. Not saying that as a point of pride, just saying it as a statement of fact. So it does not sway my opinion, but just so you know, there you go. The FCC wants you to know that. Okay, Survivor Mercs, playing this on Xbox. It is a Survivors-like, and I really am into those these days, where you have a character, top-down view. This is 2D graphics, and you are, running around a battlefield. This is an interesting one. So, like, if you played Vampire Survivors, you know what I'm talking about. Survivors likes. This is an interesting one, and yet literally nothing about it is good. It's, like, terrible in every aspect, but I appreciate they try to do a couple new things with it. Basically, you play, like, a commando who is a clone, and I guess they kind of explained the narrative conceit of it being a roguelike by having cloned bodies. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody really wants there to be a narrative explanation for that, but whatever, I'm not mad at it. It's fine. So you go to these battlefields. They do a little bit of a roguelike map, kind of like Slay the Spire, where you have nodes on a map, and each node will be like a different battle or a store or a narrative event or something like that. And so they let you go through these areas, choose each battlefield as you go. There's a boss at the end of them, and along the way you just engage in multiple battles, which is basically fine. Although I will say that each battle is like frustratingly short. I think the perfect sweet spot for any Survivors like so far is like between 15 and 20 minutes per level. I feel like that's enough time to really sink your teeth in and like unlock some upgrades and power up and hit that power curve that Survivors likes are good at, but also not dragging on forever. I think 15, 20 minutes is the sweet spot. The levels in this game are like 3 minutes or 5 minutes or something. It feels frustratingly short. It feels like you're just getting going and then the thing is over. And when the level is over, you have to exfiltrate immediately by catching a helicopter ride out. Otherwise, like a nuke comes in and blows up and kills you. So you don't want to do that. The action itself, not great. Not great. They start the game off in a little bit of a divergence from the formula by having you move like regular left stick, but then also you aim with the right stick and fire with the trigger. And most of the survivors likes just have you concerned only with movement, and they do auto for the other things. This game tries to make you a little bit more active, but I don't think it works because I think the guns in this game fucking suck ass, like so bad. I hate the guns in this game. There's some kind of a cooldown on your gun, so it's not like you're just firing constantly. It's like you kind of like save up ammo, it regenerates, and then you shoot it off, but then when you shoot your last bullet, it's got to regenerate, and it's not a reload. It's just like this slow meter, and if you end up having the game, if you change the settings to do auto shoot, it's just your gun is always running dry. It's like shoot, reload, shoot, reload, shoot. It's so frustrating, and it flies in the face of like basically every other survivors like. So you can change that to have it auto aim, and it gives you a couple options like closest enemy, furthest enemy, closest enemy, but prioritize the boss. So you have a couple different choices, and then you have like auto shoot or not. I kept fiddling with it, and I just couldn't find a good medium for me. I think I eventually went with like auto aim, but then I was pulling the trigger myself because I was too frustrated with the guns like recharging or whatever. It just was not good. It was not good. Your guys also feel completely underpowered. In this particular game, they do take a note from a couple other survivors likes. Notably, one of my favorites of last year, I believe, Yet Another Zombie Survivors like. That game kicked ass despite the stupid title. Really, really fun. And the hook of that one was you got teammates to join you on the field. So you'd start with one character, and then you would add like another, and eventually you'd have a squad of like 3 people running as a unit. That was really fun. They try to do the same thing here, and I think you can get up to 3 people for a total team of 4. But everybody is like underpowered. None of the guns are exciting. All the power-ups you get are like these fucking infinitesimal, just boring ass, like 1 extra bullet in the clip. Oh boy, 1 extra bullet. Or like, 0.025 plus penetration armor on this one gun or something. They're so stingy with the power-ups. Like as much as I played, I never got to a point where I was like, oh, feeling good, feeling OP. Got that vibe in a survivor's like when you crest the power curve and then all of a sudden you're like dealing death all over the place. That's what makes those games fun. This game does not understand that like at all. You were constantly underpowered, really frustrating, especially when you get the bosses and you just got these pea shooters. You're just chipping away like fucking forever at these goddamn bosses. It just takes way too long. Did not like that at all. No wow factor to the guns or the gameplay at all, or the power-ups. Ugh, just nothing. What else this game got going for it? Nothing. It's got bad tutorials. It feels like a grind with the resources when you get back to base. There's a weird base setup where it seems like they want you to invest in these different rooms in your base, and each room unlocks like a different thing, but they don't explain it very well, and all of the things you unlock feel extremely minimal again. I don't know. And also the graphics are kind of terrible. Like, it's not visually exciting to look at. The 2D kind of presentation of the game is super boring. Just like this game is like a fail on basically every level. I like the basic idea of survivors likes, of having a team-based survivors like, of having a base where you can power things up. I even like the idea of adding a roguelike map and kind of going through, somewhat shorter levels. But this game just does none of it good. Like, none of it's good. None of it's good. I disliked playing this game immensely. And I feel like every place it could have gone right, it went wrong. And it's just bad. They need to go back to the drawing board on this one. I'm not sure how these developers got everything so consistently awful, but there you go. Had a miserable time with Survivor Mercs, and do not recommend it to anyone. There's like 1,000 other Survivors likes I would recommend before I would ever recommend this one. And I think I would recommend doing dishes or walking your dog or like vacuuming your carpet before I would recommend this game. That's how much fun I had. So there you go. Survivor Mercs. It's a loser. Moving on. Next up, I played Skeletor Until Next Time. If you know me or you know this podcast, you know I am a hardcore Masters of the Universe fan, lifelong fan. I was a kid when He-Man and the Masters of the Universe hit shelves for the very first time back in 1983, something like that. I remember seeing it for the first time. I living through when it became a sensation, watching the cartoon. Been a fan for 40 plus years. Constant fan. So I'm very excited about all the current zeitgeist of the He-Man stuff going on. The He-Man movie seems like it's doing really well received, good reviews. Seems action-packed. Haven't seen it yet, which makes me cry, but I'll get to it as soon as I can. And there's also a bunch of other stuff that's coming out right now. I know that there is a side-to-side scroller based on He-Man coming out. Got a little bit delayed. That's fine. I think it was called The Dragon's Pearl or something like that. But this one is a phone game, and normally I don't even bother with phone games, but this one was special because it's based on He-Man, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Again, called Skeletor Until Next Time. If you're not familiar, there's like a meme based on Skeletor where he like sits on the ground and he'll say something that's really like obnoxious or gross or something. I think one of the things he says is like, and this is like all over social media, it says something like, oh, if you consider a tomato as a fruit, then that means ketchup is a smoothie. And then he runs off and he goes, until next time. And he always says stuff like that. And a lot of those are much raunchier or really inappropriate. And it's just funny that somebody has like taken that format of Skeletor saying something and then running off as like a meme. I'm sure you've probably seen it if you're on social media. It's been around for a while. So somebody took that meme, made it into a game. It's an endless runner, just like, I don't know, just like any of those runners that were like so popular a while ago, where you have a character on your phone. They are running away from you, like towards the screen. You have a left track, middle track, right track. You can switch between the tracks by swiping. You swipe up to jump, you swipe down to duck, and then you collect coins as you run. I mean, like, it just follows the template like to a T. If you've been anywhere on mobile games, I'm sure you've played one of these at least some point in your life. Temple Run, I think, was like a super successful one. I mean, there's like been a million of these, like a billion. So I knew it was like that, but I was thinking maybe the He-Man theme would be interesting enough. And they just really kind of half-assed it when you get into it. There's no Skeletor voiceover like anywhere. Not that I could see anyway. Maybe I missed a setting or something like that, but it was just like no voiceover. And Skeletor has a really distinctive voice or a fun voice, and they don't do that. Which is still kind of mind-boggling to me. I'm going to have to go back and check the settings again, or maybe I need to like re-download it or something, because it seems wild to me that there was no voiceovers. But you just go through, just do the usual running stuff. I think the running was not great because in just a few seconds it gets really hard, like poorly tested hard, where there's like so many obstacles on the screen. I don't know how anybody's getting through any of these. It feels like a glitch to force you to die, and then you go back to the start, and you can pay gems or whatever to continue. I didn't play it long enough to see if I needed to actually put any real money into it. I just started like just the basic download from the Android store, and I already had some gems in it, and I died like once or twice, and I was like, okay, I get it, but just nothing really notable, nothing really fun. Even as a hardcore He-Man fan, I was not really finding it fun. Some of the power-ups are based on some of the other characters, supporting characters. You get Evelyn shows up. She gives you a shield a couple times. Spycore will destroy some objects on the field. Beastman will let you double jump. I mean, there's like some unlocks or whatever, but it just feels so mobile phony and so just cheaply made and just so like just not fun to play. No real twists or anything, so that's pretty disappointing. Feels like a very cheaply made product to help support the current PR blast of He-Man hitting everywhere, and I'm in support of that. I am in support of He-Man. I am in support of his success, this movie's success. I'm a hardcore fan, will always be a hardcore fan, and I feel like I've waited 40 years for this moment, so I'm going to roll in it like a pig in shit. But that doesn't make this game good, so don't really bother, even for the He-Man fans. Thumbs down on Skeletor until next time. Next up, Do You Even Forklift? This is a game I am playing on PS5. I've got a code for this one. This is a really interesting, fun little thing to mess around with. It is a simple kind of physics abstract control game where you have an overhead view, kind of an isometric view, and you're looking down at a teeny tiny little forklift on these very small single screen areas, and they want you to do really basic stuff. So beginning, and you're controlling it like remote control style, where if the forklift is facing the way you're looking at the screen, then left is left, right is right. But if you turn the forklift around like you're driving it around like an RC car, if it goes back towards you, then it's like the opposite way. So it's always like remote control, tank controls, always. So that adds like a layer of complication to it. And if you're good at RC cars, maybe it's not so complicated. If you are not good at RC cars, it could be very complicated. Mileage may vary on that one. So you start off with just really simple. I mean, the graphics, simple, music, simple, everything really simple. Very straightforward. Feels almost like a mobile game in that way, but like a better one where you have just like little challenges as you go. So it's very cute looking. And at first they're just like, lift a box and put it in the square. And so you've got to figure out, okay, how does the forklift move? It's got gas, it's got a brake, steers. And then you have your grab with the forks and drop with the forks. Those are each a button. and then lift the fork and lower the fork. So you've got, those are like your total controls. And so once you figure out how that works pretty straightforward. You pick up the box, drive it over to where you need to drop it. There's like an X on the ground or something. Put it down, done. Level's over. And then it seems like in each level, there's like a hidden bowl of ramen. Some of these levels, I'm just like, these levels are small and they're very straightforward. And I don't understand how each level has a bowl of ramen hidden in it, but I guess it does. I've found a handful of them, and sometimes they're like right out in the open. But man, some of the hidden ones, I'm like, how are they hidden? I don't understand. Because you can't interact with everything. It's not like a goat simulator or like trash the environment. I mean, you can interact with the things you interact with. Anything that you can mess with like has an outline over it, and things that are not outlined you cannot mess with. So it's not like you can just trash everything in the environment, turning over boxes and breaking down walls. And I think some of that ramen is pretty well hidden, which makes sense because ramen's valuable because it's delicious. Okay, so like you do that, and then it kind of escalates from there. Then it's like move 2 boxes, or like maybe it gets a little trickier to move the boxes. And then you move on to the next levels, and then it's like pick up a car, move a car, or maybe like pick up a red car and drive it through this thing and drop it off in the red car slot. So like they get, it escalates from there as you go in complication. And I think it's all very fun and cute and light. And if you want something that's low calorie that you can just jump into and jump out of, I think it gets the job done. I had a pretty entertaining afternoon with it. But I will say that once I put it down, it's not like I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I wasn't like really super itching to get back to it. But I mean, it was a good time as I was playing it. And if I was going on my PlayStation and I happened to see it, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to jump back in for a couple levels and check it out. I think my only frustrations with it are that tutorials are not great. And to be fair, there's not like a lot of complexity to it, although I would like some information on the ramen. And some of the objectives I think are not super clear. The developer tries to get away with one of those wordless games where they just kind of like show you in the environment what they want you to do, and not all that stuff is really intuitive or clear. Maybe my brain doesn't work like other people's. I think we've established that. Sometimes I just don't get things that other people do. But some of the objectives, I'm like, what am I doing? I don't understand. I got to this one level. It was one of the special levels, and this game is so simple. All you're doing is driving a forklift. Like, there's not really anything else to it, and I could not figure out what I was supposed to do. There was like a level where there was a gate and only red things could go through the gate. And I'm like, well, there's nothing red here. And in one of the levels I could paint myself, but I can't paint myself here. And I'm looking around and there's nothing to interact with. I'm like, what am I missing? I don't understand. So that kind of was like really weird and demoralizing. But those are the exception and not the rule. Most of them are just very straightforward. You're just executing a very straightforward premise. So if that sounds fun, if tooling around on a little forklift sounds fun to you, I had fun. I thought it was a good time. Feels almost like a virtual toy in some aspects. It was just kind of neat to, drive around. That's my forklift sound. And you just, fork stuff, and then you unfork it, and then you drive around, you fork it again. I mean, it was just fun. It's fun. It's light. It is what it is. I think it's a good time. So that is Do You Even Forklift? It's super cute. Beyond that, I played I'm fucking this up. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. In the game, they call it Necrophosis. I'm not sure that's the right pronunciation because in the game, they also mispronounce many other words. They are not native English speakers. No shade, just a fact. I think it's probably Necrophosis. Necrophosis. Necrophosis Full Consciousness is the game. It is a first-person adventure where you are, I'm not sure what you are. They call you consciousness in the game, and I don't know if they mean that literally or what, but basically you're like this construct of like flesh and bone. You're not a person, you're like a thing, and you appear in this weird, semi-nauseating kind of like horror zone, but it's like this other dimension. Kind of hard to describe. It's a very trippy experience. So you wake up, it's first person, and you're looking around at like this like land of sand, and these weird beetles with human faces, and there's bones everywhere, and there's dead things everywhere, and there's giant statues, and the whole thing seems like a Lovecraft nightmare. And then you need to figure out just like, what are you even doing? Who are you? What's going on? And so you wander around in first person, and you'll find eventually that each area you're in is a pretty small contained area, even though it doesn't look like it, but it is. And then you have to just like find what you can interact with. Sometimes you talk to people where they're like spirits or monsters or decayed people or corpses or whatever. And you talk to all these weird people. And a lot of this is like really gross looking, really unsettling, flayed skeletons and people with their guts out and bugs and just like all sorts of just stuff. And then you need to figure out like what's the objective here? What am I tasked with? What am I trying to do? And the puzzles here are pretty simple. So for example, like there's a skeleton with his hands out, and when you move your cursor over him, or like when you look at it, you can tell like he wants an item. And because you're in a limited area, there's only there's only so many items you can pick up. And so it kind of becomes a order of operations practice where it's like, okay, this guy needs let's say he needs some coins, but the monster that's got the coins needs like a soul. And then in order to get the soul, I need to feed this other guy like a teardrop or whatever. And so you got to figure out like what's the first thing you can do, and then what does that lead to? And then, when you get that thing, what does that go to? And then eventually you get to the thing you wanted to do, and then you move on. Puzzles are pretty straightforward, but that's not a complaint. I don't really need mind-melting puzzles in this. Although I will say, sometimes it was hard to tell what was able to be interacted with or not. You have to be a little bit careful when you're walking around, because I don't think all the things in the environment are immediately obvious. And there was a few times when I got stuck, and I actually had to go to like a video walkthrough a couple times, because I had walked right by something that was interactable, and my camera, or the cursor on my camera, didn't hit it in just the right way. And so it didn't signal to me that it was interactable. And there's no button that you can push to like highlight all the interactable things in an environment, which I think is a good move. So I got stuck a couple times just because of that. But then once I realized, I can actually interact with this thing, then I solved all the puzzles pretty quickly. So I don't think it's a brain buster. I don't think it needs to be. I don't think it should be. But just be aware that sometimes things in the environment are not that clear. But otherwise, you're walking through these really creepy like landscapes. It almost looks like a Bosch painting or something like that, where it's just like horror and suffering and weirdness and liquid and dripping and tentacles just like all over the place. And some of the stuff is just like pretty unsettling. I mean, I like horror. I like Lovecraft stuff. I watch horror movies, so I'm not like super squeamish or anything, but some of the stuff I was like, ooh, that's uncomfortable. Oh, that's hard to look at, So I think they do a good job in that sense. You clear the first area, you move on to the next area, and everything is just really esoteric and dreamlike and weird and abstract. I don't know, like a Dali painting crossed with Lovecraft, perhaps, something along those lines. And along the way, you'll find little bits of lore that I felt was pretty clunky and did not appreciate that. Felt like they should have found other ways to get that lore in. Like you'll pick up a piece of paper or a skull that has like a stuff written on the tongue of it. And just, so you pick up lore here and there, which is like whatever. But overall, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a short experience. I think it's like 4 or 5 hours. I played about half, and I enjoyed it. It was just really unsettling and weird and creepy. And if you like horror, if you like that weird, what the hell is going on kind of vibe, and just exploring all these different things to see, it was pretty gross. So kind of like a walking sim, but not really. Kind of like a puzzle game, but not really. I think it's just like a vibes game, really experiential, creepy horror game. So that was there. And in general, you are not molested by other things. I got to one level where monsters would not really even attack you. Like if the monsters touched you, they would send you back to the beginning of the level, which was like annoying. In the other levels that I had played, I think I had played a couple other levels besides that one. There was nothing there that would bother you. It was just like you would wander and learn and see and do, but nothing would happen. It was only in this like later level when like they would send you back to the beginning, which I absolutely did not care for, and it was just kind of like a time waste. So I wish they wouldn't do that. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. If you want like a spooky, vibey, Lovecrafty kind of a thing, it's weird, it's unsettling, it's gross. I think it's probably worth your time if you like really laid back vibes games for sure, and you're a horror fan. So yeah, I enjoyed what I played of it. I thought it was pretty cool. Necrophosis, Full Consciousness. All right, last game of the show. This is going to be probably on record as one of our shortest shows, I think. Marlow, Briggs, and the Mask of Death. Carlos and I talked this one up a while ago. It's probably like 100 episodes ago or something like this. It's originally published on Xbox 360, and I want to say it was 2013, maybe. Put out by 505 Games. I had it in my Xbox backlog, and I could still see that on the Xbox X, and so it was there. Carlos had seen it somehow, and he had played it. I had it on my hard drive, but I did not play it, and we had talked about it, and he had, really was raving about it and liked it quite a bit. So I left it on my hard drive. I meant to play it back then, and I just never did. Got busy and forgot, and whatever. But this week, I was like, oh, I've played all of my review show responsibilities, and now I've got a blank spot. I can play something else. And I figured I would just dip into something. And I was like, oh, yeah, Marlow Briggs. That's right. I never got to it. So Marlow Briggs and the Mask of Death. It's on 360, backwards compatible on the Xbox S and X. And that is how I'm playing it. You are Marlow Briggs, as you might guess. You are a guy and his girlfriend going to a archaeological dig. The guy who is running the dig is a scumbag. And he is voiced by the incredible James Hong, who I love. James Hong, you may know him. I mean, he's been in friggin' everything. He is like, he's been in so many movies and TV shows. I mean, most notably, like, he was the bad guy in Big Trouble in Little China, which is probably my favorite movie of all time. He has an extremely distinctive voice. And like, as soon as I heard the bad guy talking scam, I'm like, wait a minute. Is that actual Hollywood actor James Hong? He sure is fucking yes, it is. So that's amazing. That's a huge point in its favor. So, but anyway, James Hong's character is a bad guy. He is in South America digging for some relics or artifacts. And your girlfriend is an archaeologist and a translator. She decides that they are not showing proper respect to the dig. And so she wants out. And he's like, you ain't fucking leaving. And so he kidnaps her and kills you, like in the very first 2 seconds of the game. You get stabbed with this like ancient, I don't know, obsidian scimitar thing. It's obviously like a relic or an artifact. They stab you with it and then they just fuck off and leave. You leave your body there. And then, of course, the obsidian thing that they've just killed you with is possessed with the spirit of some ancient South American gods. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to target a specific culture or background. Is it Aztec? Is it Inca? Is it something else? I mean, I honestly don't know. Maybe they don't know either, but it's kind of like a South American themed like mask. It talks to him and brings him back and gives him power to fight and to restore the area. And then he jumps up. He is now revived and he has got superpowers and he's ready to kick 87 different kinds of ass. So I'm going to say right off the top, this game was like a banger and it's like really super good. And I was surprised at how good it was. I don't know that I was looking to get into something hardcore. I was thinking of maybe I would just dip in for an hour and bounce. And every time I was about to bounce, I'm like, no, actually this is pretty good. Let me just play a little bit more. And then I'm like, no, I got to play a little bit more. This is, oh, are they doing this now? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, now I'm going, nope, this is pretty cool. Well, I guess let's just do one more level. And I just kept playing. And eventually I had to stop to record the show. But I will say Marlow Briggs has kind of done the impossible and really impressed me just on basically every level. It's absurd how fun and stupid and silly and good this game is. I'm having a blast with it, actually. Definitely recommended for sure. So it's third-person action, kind of above the scene, camera view. You do not move the camera at all. These are fixed camera points, and so you're walking from scene to scene with Marlow Briggs. It's very tightly locked down and prescribed. It feels very of its time. This is an old school. I mean, if you were around playing Xbox 360 games, or even the previous Xbox games or something, it feels like it's from that era. But I will say it looks pretty damn decent for how old it is. Like, I'm like, okay, these graphics are not making me mad. Like, this looks pretty good, actually. I think they have a very interesting sense of humor. It's obviously like way, way, way over the top. I mean, this is the kind, it feels like this should be like a 90s action movie. Like a cheesy B movie, but the kind of cheesy B movie where you're like, oh yeah, it's on cable, I'm going to watch this. I love this one. This is like so shitty that it's awesome. And that's kind of the vibe here. You know, Marlow Briggs kills a bunch of guys. And, you know, it's this kind of game where like he'll chop a guy's head off and he'll be like, don't lose your head. That kind of like stupid, super stupid, like cheesy one-liners, but they kind of work because it's just so dumb. You know, he'll jump over a flame or something, and he'll be like, you know, if you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen or something, you know, something dumb like that, right? Like he kills a bajillion bad guys with basic dialogue combos like XXX, XXY, YXX. Pretty straightforward combat there. There seem to be at least 4 different weapons and 4 different magic spells, but they take their time doling those out. You begin with the scythe and a flame spell. That's all I have at the moment. I haven't unlocked any of the weapons, but you kind of, you build up to it. But you're just like going from scene to scene, and the camera works pretty well. I think they've got that pretty dialed in, and you just like kill a bunch of guys and punch a bunch of guys. You move over, you get a cutscene. Sometimes they're actual cutscenes, and sometimes it is interesting, kind of a tableau thing where like you'll zoom in really close and nothing's moving, and Marlow like has a weapon and he's looking at a bad guy, and then as the camera pans, nothing's moving but the camera. As it pans, the scene kind of slowly morphs into like Marlow punching the guy, and then still nothing's moving but the camera, and the camera keeps moving, and then all of a sudden it's like the guy is flying and Marlow's jumping after him. It's a pretty interesting technique. I guess they must have done it because they probably didn't have the budget to animate all of these cutscenes, but I think it works. It's pretty stylish and cool. It's also, I mean, it's genuinely like these developers know it's so over the top. Like Marlow is constantly jumping out of something exploding, and like everything explodes in this game. Everything is like 10 different kinds of explosions. He's swinging off of ropes. He's doing zip lines. He's jumping. He's climbing. He's double jumping. Stuff's exploding all over the place. He's like shooting helicopters out of the sky. The kind of thing where you jump in an anti-aircraft turret and you shoot down like 50 helicopters in a row, right? Or like you're in one section, you're hanging from a helicopter upside down and you have to like dodge obstacles that are coming for you, but the whole thing is upside down because you're hanging upside down. It's just like one whack crazy set piece after another, and one crazy action sequence after another, and each one is bigger than the last, and each one explodes more than the last one did, and he has cheesier lines as you go, and it's just fucking awesome. The whole thing just works. It just works. It's so fun to just do this stuff. And I remember as I was talking to Carlos about this back when we covered it 100 episodes ago, he was like, it's nice to just play something that's very straightforward. It is what it is, and you just take it for what it is. And I fully agree. I think that, it's not trying to be anything super like genre breaking, but it's leaning into what it is. It knows it's cheesy. It knows it's like over the top action. It's got combos. It's got, set pieces, and it just does it all. It's not embarrassed. It doesn't try to hide what it is. It wears it out and proud, and it's just doing the thing. You're on this giant excavation machine that's as big as like fucking like a city, and you're going inside and out of it. You're climbing on the outside of it, and there's saw blades going, and there's explosions and shit's happening, and you're jumping, and the whole thing is just fucking cool as hell. Like it totally works, dude. It totally works. It's just old school, simple, straightforward, like B-movie Saturday afternoon, grab a popcorn kind of a video game where you're just here to have a good time, and the game wants you to have a good time, and you are having a good time. It's just fucking great. I'm surprised at how much I'm loving it, and I wasn't planning to finish it, but I'm like, actually this is pretty fucking cool, and everything I've done here has been pretty fucking cool, and I think that I want more cool stuff in my life, and I think that I'm going to keep on playing Marlow, Briggs, and the Mask of Death. It's just great, and plus it's got James Hong as the voice of the bad guy. How can you not fucking love that? You must love that. So huge thumbs up to Marlow Briggs. Surprise of the week. I'm having a blast. I think you will probably have a blast too. Just take it for what it is. Action B-movie silliness. It's a Xbox 360 era romp, and I think they just do a really good job of it. It's just a lot of fucking fun. So don't think too hard. Just get into the vibes, and you will have fun too. So big thumbs up to Marlow Briggs. All right, folks, game portion of the show is now officially done, but every week I do spend a few minutes in front of screens that don't have menus or life bars, and this is where we cover TV and movies. It is the TV and movie roundup. All right, let's see. Still watching Star Trek Discovery, and I will say that this series has gotten better with each season. First season was terrible, really embarrassing and awful. They fucked it up like 19 different ways. But we hung in there, and it got season 2 was better, season 3 was better, season 4 was better, and season 5 was better. It's just gone up and up and up and up and up. This is the final season, and without any kind of spoilers whatsoever, I will say they picked a banger of a theme for their overarching story. In case you don't know, Discovery is different from other Star Trek in that rather than each episode being kind of a self-contained complete story, they do season-long arcs, which is unusual for Star Trek. That's not the common show theme at all. And so they've picked like one long overarching story for each season. Season 1, it was about the Klingons. Season 2, it was about the Signals. Season 3, it was about, I don't know, whatever, alternate universe or something. Like, whatever, I don't remember. Doesn't matter. But they've picked a real hoot and holler for season 5. I was very surprised to see it. It's really impressive. I think it's really cool. And the characters have gotten stronger and better. We've only got like 2 or 3 episodes left, and I will genuinely be sad to see it over. There's been a lot of cool characters which I've enjoyed, and I think the writing has been pretty good once they got past season 1. So thumbs up to Discovery. We watched a bunch of movies as well. My wife and I were just both feeling like, man, I don't want to do anything today. Let's watch like 9 movies. What do you say? And yep, let's do that. Let's make some popcorn. Let's make a burrito. Let's have some soda, whatever. Let's watch some movies and just shut the world out for like 5 seconds. Because sometimes that's what you need to do to preserve your fucking mental health. And mental health is sure under attack these days, isn't it? Especially if you live in America. It's fucking crazy ass wild times right now. So we ended up watching a bunch of fucking movies. First one we watched was Project Hail Mary. This one was pretty well received, pretty accoladed. That's the wrong form of that word, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Sci-fi. It's about people on Earth discover that something is making the sun go out, like way ahead of schedule. I mean, we know it's going to go out like in a couple billion years, but it was going out like now in 30 years. And so they send a team of astronauts into space to figure out what the fuck. A team of 3, 2 of them end up dying, and there's only 1 guy left, and he's got to figure out what's going on. I feel like I don't know how much to say about this, because I would have liked it better if the trailers had not revealed as much, and if I hadn't known as much about it as I did. And I wasn't even looking into it. I think just by osmosis, just by being on social media or being a person in the world, I ended up like almost knowing everything about the movie before I watched it, which I think kind of hurt my appreciation of it. So I'm not going to say a lot about it other than that. And if you haven't learned a lot about it and you want to watch it, go into it like as cold as possible. I think it would be better if it was cold. I will say it was okay. It was pretty fine for the most part. The wife listened to the audiobook, and she said the audiobook was, of course, much better. Apparently they cut out huge chunks of stuff for the film, which I totally understand. But the movie ended up being almost 3 hours as it was, like, and I felt like that was pretty long, but big topics, a lot of complex stuff. It was way more of a comedy than I expected. I was expecting more of a straight kind of a sci-fi thing, but I felt like a lot of it was like kind of slapsticky and comedy, which was fine. I feel like the writing did take some pretty big shortcuts at a couple points, and I can't say any more for fear of spoilers. But yeah, there's a lot of places where I'm like, damn, I wish they had spent more time on that, or I wish they had talked more about that. And they kind of just like skip it along. Kind of a low-cal, don't think too hard version of something like this. This story has been done in other places too. Star Trek has done a pretty good couple episodes on this. I can think of, if I tell you what movie I'm thinking of, it might be a spoiler. But there was an amazing sci-fi movie that came out a couple years ago, probably more than a couple years ago, probably more like 10 years ago. That was phenomenal. That kind of touched on the same topic. So it was fine. It was good. It was okay. I wish I knew less about it, and I wish that it was like they had spent a little bit more time on certain aspects of it, but it was fine. Then we watched Beetlejuice, which was very disappointing. We were fans of the original. I think a lot of people are fans of the original Beetlejuice, and they brought everybody back for this sequel that I don't think anybody was expecting or wanted, and it just felt like nobody really wanted to be there. The actors were very low energy. The writing was not very inspired. It felt like a rough draft, and that they kind of just went with it. The script didn't pop. There weren't really a lot of laughs. It just kind of like happened. It was like a movie that happened to you as you're watching it. And when we got to the end of it, it just kind of ended, and we were like, man, that's a thing that we sat through. Like, it was just like, I mean, was it the worst movie I've ever seen? No. But Michael Keaton seemed really tired and just dull. And Beetlejuice is a character that's famous for being like way over the top. Shouting, running around, crazy gags, just like one thing after another. He had a fraction of that energy in this film. And I get that he's like, I don't know, 70 years old or something. I mean, respect, dude. Like, you're old. I get it. I mean, I'm fucking 50 and I take like 19 naps a day. So I get being tired. But like, if you're going to do the movie, do the movie. You know what I mean? Like, commit, man. Have a cup of coffee or something. Or maybe it's the director's fault. But also Winona Ryder came back. She had like the most miserable haircut possible. It was really awful. And she just seemed flat too. She just seemed like she was reading lines. Like, she didn't lean into anything. And I've seen her in some great stuff in the past. You know, she is a legit actress, but she was not acting this time around. It just felt like a bunch of people gathered to like cash in a check, and the movie was just so listless and directionless and just kind of pointless. So did not really care for that one. We ended up watching Send Help, directed by Sam Raimi. What a cracker. What a fun fucking film this was. This was about a woman who is not a beauty model. She's working in an office, and she is constantly looked down upon because she's not hot and she's not young, and she's kind of a nerd. And so everybody in the office makes fun of her and no one likes her, but she's like super efficient and smart. And then her boss is like this complete fucking douchebag, and they go on a flight with some other people to like do a merger overseas, like in Thailand. Plane crashes, and then the only two survivors are the girl and the douchebag boss. So she saves him, and it turns out that she is like the world's #1 Survivor superfan, like Survivor, the game show of like people surviving on islands. And so she knows like everything about she's watched all the seasons of Survivor. She wanted to be on Survivor before, and they even show her demo tape and stuff. And so she knows all the tricks of like gathering water and which berries are poisonous and how do you cook a fish and all these things. And the guy doesn't know shit. And so she's like the Survivor queen on the island, and she sees this as her opportunity to like rehab him a little bit. I'm not going to say any more than that. And I feel like that's already that. I mean, I feel like that's what they've covered in the trailers, and I think that's good enough. That's enough of a premise. But this is directed by Sam Raimi, which is awesome. I feel like he is back. I'm not sure if he went anywhere, but he is back. He is doing his same gross out humor. There's a couple scenes in this movie that made me like visibly cringe, and that's amazing. I think there's some cool twists that happen. It's funny. It moves. It's engaging. It's gross. I think this is a fucking great movie. I loved it. Send Help was really, really good. I had a great time with it. The wife enjoyed it too. Definitely recommend this one. It's not as dark as it may seem from trailers. It's definitely on the lighter side for sure. I would certainly call it a horror comedy, definitely. But we had a blast. It was like the best movie we watched all day. It was really, really good. And then last thing to mention here is Widow's Bay, which Carlos has been trying to get me to watch forever. It's on Apple TV, I believe, and I have wanted to watch it, but you know me, I don't do the week to week thing. That is for suckers. I like to watch a show, just like marathon it when it comes out, or just like at least one episode a day to just get through it and enjoy it at our pace. I got a lot of shows to watch, and I can't be waiting around for shit. So I believe I was going to wait until the whole thing was out, but we ended up just needing something to watch, and we're like, oh, let's give this a shot. I think there are only 2 episodes yet to be released, and so by the time we get through the episodes that we're watching now, those 2 episodes will be out, and we won't have to like wait for anything. So I guess that's okay. The show is fucking great. It's great. It is as good as Carlos said. He was absolutely right on the money. You know, Carlos and I may not always agree on games, but he and I, we come together on TV and movies more often than we don't, I think. I think we are more similar for viewing than we are for playing, but that's totally fine. He was on the money, though. This is a fucking great show. Another horror comedy. It's about a small island in east coast of America somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it's supposed to be at. Like, I don't know. Whatever. East Coast island, northeastern United States, something like that. And it's a sleepy small community. The mayor wants to draw more tourism to the place, and the people who live there are like, are you fucking crazy? This island is haunted, and yet none of us can ever leave it. And so it's like the haunted island, and there's a kind of a monster of the week theme going on. Like something different happens each week. But the overall theme is the island is evil and it's cursed. And it's also fucking funny as hell. It is so funny. The writing is really sharp and really on point and very dry. They don't go for any slapstick stuff ever. It's usually like in the writing or the reactions of people or some of the just little touches that are so good. Like this show is on point, like absolutely. You know, like they're dealing with horror, they're dealing with scariness and ghosts and weird things, but it's also like it never misses a beat when it comes to like having funny interactions with the townspeople or some funny interaction about some old historical legend or something. I mean, it's really a good time. I'm not going to say any more than that, but Widow's Bay is the real deal. It is a great show. My wife and I have like loved it so far. We've really laughed at it, and it's also sufficiently creepy and spooky, which is good. It's hard to get a good balance of those things, and Widow's Bay is on target. Definite thumbs up for sure. All right, folks, that is a show. Before the closing music, please leave a review, Share the show on social media, but most important of all, please recommend it to your friends because nothing beats good old word of mouth. And as always, send me your questions and comments. You can hit me up directly, sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up on social media as well. I'm on Instagram and Blue Sky. It's my name, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. You can hit me up in the So Video Games Discord, which is free of charge to join. Just hit me up and I will get you on board to continue the conversation. And finally, if you like this episode and you want to hear more, you can help support this show and sister site GameCritics.com by going over to patreon.com/the So Video Games Podcast. Every single dollar helps, and €1 helps that much more. Folks, that's going to do it for episode 491. Thank you again for joining me here in the So Video Games Podcast, and I'll see you next week.